Today we're taking a look at the brand new Fire TV Edition Smart TVs from Westinghouse. This is the 43-inch. The performance processors are pretty much standard across the board. All the Fire TV, Smart TV Editions, whatever they're called, whether it be from Element or Westinghouse, all from the same company, and the TVs themselves seem to be pretty similar, but Westinghouse was nice enough to send us one of their TVs for review. We got to return this as just a loaner, but wanted to kind of give you a breakdown what the end user experience is like. You can find plenty of places to read up on what the processor speed is like and a whole host of other features, but we just want to look at what it's like when you take it home. So we're going to do that right now, dive into it, let you know my thoughts. First of all, on the TV itself, I thought the exterior of the TV was well made. The stand is metal, which is kind of nice. Most places are going with a plastic. This felt very sturdy. The TV is a nice 4K image. Kind of sad that's not HDR. It's in the price range of a mid-priced TV right now for this kind of range, I would call this. And most of those are coming with 4K HDR now. Now, HDR content is still kind of new. Many places like Netflix and Amazon and more are starting to roll out a lot of that content. And I expect over the next year or two, it's going to be the big standard. There is a big difference in image quality between 4K and HDR. It's mostly in the number of colors on the screen, the brightness of it, the depth of the blackness on the screen when it goes dark. So it's kind of a miss there. That's my main one complaint about the image. But beyond that, it's a very good 4K TV. Now, you'll notice the user interface here is very similar to what you're probably used to from the Fire TV box. The new interface that came out this year. You got your recents, which is kind of cool. Like right here, I was just looking at the local weather channel. You see a picture-in-picture pops up when I hover over it. And it shows me some of the other stuff I was playing around with. Your apps are here. And then it goes into a row of local channels. Now, this is all the locals I currently get with it. I was very impressed with the tuner on the locals, as it was very smooth and did a great job picking up a ton of locals. It was very sensitive. Next up is inputs. So you got all your different inputs here, 4 different HDMIs, 2 components, and you got coaxial antenna jack on this. Work with your cable box, whatever here too. And then all the standard rows you would be used to. Amazon Prime, featured apps, it's all right here, different categories. But let's kind of dive into some of the features here, starting with the antenna features. Now, if you hold it on the home screen, you do get this additional menu here where you can set the sleep timer, mess with the picture, the sound. But let's dive into the channel guide and take a look at it. It is a traditional channel guide, which is kind of cool, that you're probably familiar with. Now, my one complaint here is it goes alphabetical based off the channel name. So you see bounces here, creative, and so forth. Now, it gets a little confusing when some of the channels are not showing the right one. You get some of these small regional channels. For instance, my local weather channel, instead of being the ABC weather channel, it's just the WX whatever channel way down at the bottom. I wish it was a way I could say, run it by channel number. That would have been cool, but it doesn't seem to do that. It just, when I click on options, it just gives me options to add it to favorites. So you can create a favorite list here if you want. Let's dive in here and take a look at the weather channel. And you can see I can do a couple different things here. There is a play pause feature on it. You need to wait a second once you get into it. I just did that too quick. There you go. So right there's the play pause. Now after I do that, I can rewind. I can fast forward, jump around. If I press down on the menu on the remote, it brings up this menu of what's on right now. So I can surf around and see the forensic files are on. A kids show on PBS Kids is available, and so on. So that's pretty cool. I could jump over to Bob the Builder if I wanted to. And then when I go back to the channel guide here, you see a picture-in-picture pops up in the bottom right-hand corner for that. So it's a very nice setup there on the channels. Very sensitive tuner on this. Did a very good job picking up with my indoor antenna. Probably picked up a couple more than I would typically expect. Ones that in my lab, in my indoor antenna, Fox, for instance, is a little shaky often. And this seems to have done a very good job, even though I'm using the same antenna. So good job, Westinghouse. The antenna aspect of it works really well. And of course, I like how it's integrated right into the home screen here. Let's keep diving into some of the features, give you an idea how fast everything is. Let's launch Netflix. See, it's remembering where I last was. Let's quickly just find a random show. Secret Life of Pets. Let's just hit play, give you an idea how quickly it launches in. You can see, very smooth. Let's jump back to the home screen. And I'm back at the home screen. So 2 thumbs up there. That was Netflix speed jumping around. This is a powerful box on it. You will find this compares very well with Fire TV and other ones. I will do some side-by-side testing as the week goes on, but we'll get to that later. My first impression though is this is as fast as a Roku Ultra, a Fire TV box, or an Apple TV. I felt that this was very comparable with all those, which is great because sometimes with smart TVs, they like to skimp out on it. And I don't feel like Amazon skimped on the power of the smart TV built in here. Now it does have a voice remote here with Alexa, and you can do all the typical, what's the weather outside? You know, I can see all the weather right there. One thing I did struggle with, let's see if it does this now. Oh, I did the home spot instead of the microphone. One second. Open my antenna. Switch to my antenna. There we go. So sometimes it likes to do it, and it seems like which wording you use. Looks like switch works a lot better than open. So just keep that in mind when you're using it. It is kind of cool to have the voice remote aspect of it, but I find that, you know, with all the different features right here, it's pretty nice. Switch to my channel guide. There you go. So it's kind of nice to have that feature there, and I think 95% of the time it's worked pretty well for me. So overall, 2 thumbs up on this. As you expect, you know, Amazon's right here. The tick is their new original. Let's kind of launch that real quick. Just to give you an idea, launching into an Amazon Prime related show. You see, very smooth, very great quality on that. So questions, comments, let me know. I would recommend this. The only downside is it just feels like so many people are moving to HDR as the next generation, that TVs in the same price point are already there. It would have been nice if they did that. Well, the other remote complaint is the remote. A couple things. So they added a row of buttons for play, pause, rewind, fast forward, but the circular pad on the remote still does all those features. So there's duplicate pause, there's duplicate fast forward and rewind buttons on the remote, but there's no mute button. If you want to do mute, you gotta open the volume on it and then jump up and play and select the menu key to mute it after you've already selected the volume key to adjust the volume on the TV. You know, they're on very different sides of it. That just feels awkward. If I was really trying to be a nitpicky, I would like a mute button. Whether the phone goes off, it just seems like double clicking is weird and having to move your thumb across the remote. The remote is a little bit longer. They did include the ability to quick launch Netflix on it to jump into Amazon Prime Video. But the buttons are kind of plasticky as opposed to other versions of the Amazon remote that have recently come out with the rubbery buttons. I kind of like the rubbery ones better. It makes this remote a little bit less slippery. It just feels a little bit higher quality when you got the rubber buttons versus the straight plastic. They're not even the shiny plastic of the first generation Fire TV remotes. It's kind of a dull plastic that's identical to the casing of the remote. But now I'm just kind of being nitpicky, but to find the stuff that I don't like on it, it's there. I do like how all the HDMI ports are on the side of the TV, easily accessible. And just makes it very open. Some TVs like to kind of put the HDMI remotes kind of on the bottom where there's like a ledge behind it, and plugging in some sticks or other ones can be difficult. They made their HDMI ports very open. There is an Ethernet jack on this. There is optical out. So there's all the bells and whistles. An SD slot is available on this. So 2 thumbs up Amazon. I was impressed. I wish the remote was more laid out like the Fire TV remote. Maybe it's because I'm so used to it. And I don't understand why there's duplicate play, pause, rewind buttons, but no mute button on the remote. So yeah, if you have any questions on this, leave me a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. If you like to ask questions about cord cutting in general, visit us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on our YouTube channel and our Facebook.com/cordcuttersnews page, where we do a weekly live Q&A session to answer all your cord cutting related questions. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. It really does help us. Give us a thumbs up. We would really appreciate it.